This is the Level Up Podcast. I'm Taylor Petrinovich,
And I'm Kelly Gilster of 618 Studios.
and we are on a mission to help wedding filmmakers and photographers level up their businesses so you can make more and work less.
We want to help you confidently take your business from mainstream to luxury, and it all starts right here.
Hey, friends, and welcome to another episode of the Level Up Podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Kelly Gilster, and I think a few weeks ago I said I would start calling her the other half of the Level Up Co. or something like that. So we'll backpedal and pretend like I said that. Kelly, how are you today?
I'm great. Officially in wedding season. So I had an event, a big wedding actually, back at the end of March that was incredible. And now we are sitting here towards the end of June, and it's just going to be kind of like bam, bam, bam through the summer. So last weekend we had another really incredible wedding, actually with an NBA player. So that was really exciting. We've filmed a couple Major League Baseball players, but never an NBA player. So that was cool to be able to have that, and a really sweet couple. And then we're coming into another really big wedding this weekend. So back-to-back weekends for us over here at 618 Studios. Taylor, what about you? You have a later start to your season.
Oh my gosh, you guys, this is like such a funny year. Yeah, I don't have anything until August, and then like it's just like a pretty full fall. So I've just been spending the front half of this year dreaming up all the dreams and working on all the projects that haven't been discussed anywhere yet. But we're excited to kind of get into some of them in this episode. But we've also been just like truly soaking up summer as a family. So we just got back from Orlando. Um, my in-laws are very gracious and take us on an annual family vacation. Last year we went to Nashville, and this year we're at Orlando. And actually, I know we have some like Floridians in here. We don't go as a Disney trip, but this time we actually did go to Disney World for the first time, and that was a lot of fun. But we stay at this resort called The Grove, and it's so great. Like we get like a 3-bedroom suite with like a full kitchen and laundry. And if you have ever traveled for 8 days with children, you know that the laundry just like piles up and those mouths need to be fed. And if you have to like pack all the clothes and be always in restaurants, it's just like kind of makes for not a very fun trip. So we love having those amenities to like kind of feel like home away from home, but then like also just be in a different setting. And then the Grove also has like a really fun water park for the kids, and we'll have like the sporadic alligator sighting. They have like a few like ponds and like a lake, and there's little alligators a lot of the time. So for someone who lives on the West Coast and like we're not in like gator country, like it's always just exciting to see like different things. And I feel like people probably feel the same way when they come to California and they're like driving through Tahoe and they're like, whoa, these mountains are huge, or like look at all these like vineyards, or like whatever it may
Maybe
be.
they see like a moose, or I don't know. Are there moose in Tahoe?
No, I don't think
Oh,
so. I think that's like a Canada, like way up north thing.
Montana has some, yeah.
Mm.
Up near that way. Yeah.
There's
I've actually
bears.
never been to Tahoe. I need
You
to
need to
go.
come. It would be so fun. We're actually gonna stay a week in Tahoe in July. We love it. It's like, yeah, you need to go. I think you would love it. Like you're a little like Montana, like
Yeah.
loving heart. I feel like this
Yeah.
would be great for you.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Fun. Well, I'm
Anywho,
so glad to hear that you are loving summer. I am working through my summer, but I love it. Like 15th season coming up in August will be like our 15th work anniversary. So it's so fun, and we love every part of it. And so today, and one of the things, actually, I will say, one of the things that has allowed us to just love what we do for 15 years is the relationships that we have built within this industry. If we didn't have a core group of industry friends or lots of industry connections, seeing familiar faces at weddings and events, it really wouldn't be as fun. And so, very early on, I'm kind of a social butterfly. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know this.
you are our social little butterfly. I feel like as time goes on and the Level Up Co matures, like we're really like kind of finding our footing and like what each of us is good at and what we bring to the table and what we can like really help our students with. And I definitely feel like relationships and all of the things that are bundled into networking are really something that fall into your category of specialization. And actually, I remember at the beginning of the year, you were saying that your kind of like mission, your biggest goal for the year was to get in the room more. And we've been absolutely going hard on that. Like we were at Kindred in January in Palm Springs. We were at Kinetic in March in Santa Barbara, and we will be back in Santa Barbara for Engage this December. And I know that you have like a multitude of other little networking things that you do all throughout the year, all the time. Like I'm always like talking to you and you're like, oh, our babysitter's coming over because we have to go to this thing tonight. And it's like always industry stuff. And my favorite place, you guys, is just like in the same spot on the couch every single night. So I'm like cringing inside, but I know it's so, so good for the business because there are so many ways to build relationships. And I feel like so many people, like, especially our community, if you've been listening for a while, you've heard us talking about relationships and you know how we feel about them. You know that we consider relationships and networking to be like the lifeblood of your business. It is the best way to have like an influx of referrals all the time to really have like that consistent feed of clients, which results in dollars in your pocket, which is what we all want. But there's like so many ways to network, like anything from like a completely digital approach where maybe you're just like doing the Instagram game or whatever it may be, all the way to the opposite end of the spectrum where you're going to something like Engage, which is like a 3-day conference either abroad or on the other side of the country. And it's like you are in the game for 3 solid days networking, but there's also like a whole spectrum of networking in between those two extremes that you can really leverage and select as the way you want to do it. But I feel like what happens is because there's so many options, like so many people kind of sit in that like ideation mode, like they're really not sure which is the best fit for them, how to get started, or they're overwhelmed by the options, or they're unsure as to like how to figure out which option is the best fit for them in their own season of life and business. So we are going to kind of just like have a really open conversation today about networking, relationships, what sets like maybe like a half-hearted attempt at a relationship apart from like an all-in, like we are actually friends and everything in between. So let's just like start. Let's start with January. So we went to Kindred. Let's talk about our experience there.
Yeah. This was actually my very first like networking event per se. Kindred was. Taylor had been to a couple of engages before that. Like you just went like right into it. Which like actually there's so many more networking events that are coming to life now where I feel like Engage has been around for years, like decades, really. Like I think 20 years. No,
Maybe like 15.
because
Yeah,
there's
I
like
mean,
multiple engages throughout the year. I'm trying to think of like some friends of mine that have said like I've been to 20 engages, but there's not just one a year. There's multiple years. So, okay, probably like yeah, 10 to 15 years Engage has been there. It's established. It's like the top of like all the networking things. Um, but there's lots of other ones that are out there that are really suited for where you may specifically be in your business. On Instagram, if you're not following on Instagram, Taylor is our Instagram strategist and she puts so much value into so many of our posts. And so we had one that went kind of bonkers a few weeks ago, and it was like how to stop wasting your money as a filmmaker and photographer this year. And one of the key points was going to networking events before you're ready. Anyways, so like there's lots of networking events for whichever phase of your business that you're in. So we went to Kindred. It was my very first one. I was like kind of a deer in the headlights because I've been like honestly a little bit out of the getting in the room game myself because of having 1 million children in a matter of 5 years. That I was like, okay, that's why I told Taylor that 2025 was my year to get back in the room because I really did see my business hitting a plateau because I kept myself out of the room.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, people who are growth minded are always looking for like ways to leverage each other, our content, and things like that. And they're looking for other growth minded people. And I think that's what naturally draws people to each other at these networking events is like the same level of hunger and like the same season of business, but also the same vision for where you want your business to go. And really like tethering yourself to other people and slingshotting each other like forward and forward and forward is like, oh, the big way the industry works. And it happens at all levels. So you see this happening in the mainstream market all the time, but it
Yeah.
also happens at the tippity top of the industry too. So it really doesn't matter where you are or where you want to go. Like networking is the way you get like the best weddings, if I'm being like totally honest. And it doesn't always have to be like from a planner. Like some really great weddings have come to me from photographers, other filmmakers,
Yeah.
um, venues in those early days. And so just like relationships in general can be so great. But I mean, I like in-person networking events because everyone's there for a common purpose. Like we are all there to meet each other. So you'll find that they are sometimes the most like open, open places and welcoming places because like it's not like you have to feel cringy or weird about approaching somebody or like trying to introduce yourself because like we're all there for the same reason. And so I just feel like it's naturally like a welcoming environment. And that was definitely true with Kindred. It's true with Kinetic. Engage can be a little different. It's in general the same. It can be a little bit more intimidating because we're mixing with Marcy Bloom and, Lynn Easton's there. And it can be a little bit more like a starstruck time, but like the majority of people are like in the same boat as you. But so many of so many of these networking events have an extremely large price tag tied to them. And so it's really, really crucial to identify when you're ready, or else it's truly just a waste of your time and your money. Like, not only is it a waste of like thousands and thousands of dollars, but it's a huge waste of like flying out to the event, staying there, the emotional energy you're like pouring into it. And if you're more introverted like me, like that can be a huge drain. And then, like, especially for something like Engage, like you fly out on a Sunday, the event is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you fly home Thursday. Like that's 4 full days, like, well, no, 5 full days away from your kids, from your family, from your home, from your responsibilities. And it's a big time suck. And if you're not going to get anything out of it, because you weren't quite ready, then like it's just that's like really, really unfortunate. But there's so many other options for when you're not ready that you can really take advantage of. And one of those things can be like little local like networking things. Kelly, you just went to, was it like the Theone party?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I went to the Theone party. They did well, okay. This was brought to my attention. And I think, okay, with these networking things, it's just an awareness, you guys. Like, you don't know what you don't know, and you kind of have to take off the blinders to see what's happening within the industry. So many photographers and filmmakers, I feel like they approach social media in a very interesting way. I feel like they approach it with like speaking to fellow filmmakers or fellow photographers a lot of the time. Like, Taylor, am I explaining that correctly? When they're not looking at like outside of their own art, if that makes sense, or their own little niche within the industry to see what's happening in the broader scope of the industry.
Yeah. Well, okay. So putting this like into like a maybe like a realistic scenario. So like
Yeah.
when you're at a wedding, being able to connect with the planner about like these new chairs that like just came in, like, and this is the first wedding that they're
Yeah.
ever being used at, or like, oh my gosh, these linens are so great. Are they La Tavola? Like, you don't actually have to know like a ton, but like just like kind of knowing a little bit of like the lingo and having just your finger on the pulse. That doesn't mean you have to be an expert by any means, but this is actually something that we love talking about our mastermind students with, is like showing all of these like funny little nuances within the industry so that you can like speak the language, like quote unquote, with the planners and stuff. I feel like it's just like greater connection points, and
Yeah.
we all want to feel like people get it, like we're understood, like people are on the same level as of us as like understanding. And I feel like if you can kind of like connect with people in their realm and in their world, they'll be impressed. Like,
Yeah.
how would you feel if like a florist was like, "Oh my gosh, is are you shooting on a blah 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 blah?" And you're like, "Actually, yeah. How did you know?" Like, that would feel like
Yeah,
so
right.
impressive.
Florists would never.
I know. I'm just saying, how fun would it be? You'd feel very seen.
Yeah. I mean, I love to learn all about their blooms, but yeah. Um, okay. So about that, last year, this was when I was like starting to realize that that plateau was happening and I need to get back in the room, but I was like pregnant, about to have my second or my third baby, and I saw that this Theone event was going on up in Taylor's area, actually, up in Napa, and so many people were going, and I sat there being like, how did they even know that this was happening? Like, it just felt like it came out of nowhere, and that, like, all of a sudden, I felt like the kid left out of, like, the party, the class party, and I was talking to a fellow photographer friend, and he was like, "You just have to, like, keep an eye out." Like, they were talking about it, like, leading up, and then I'm like, "Well, how did you get an invite?" And it was like, "Oh, it's just like, you let them know that you would love to attend, and then your name gets on the list." And it was like, "Oh, okay, so I have to take the initiative to be able to showcase that I wanna be a part of that." And actually, I think this was a couple years ago, Taylor, when I first got on the podcast, you were talking about how your oldest daughter was having, like, "I wanna be invited, I wanna be able to go to things," and you're like, we're kinda teaching her that, like, you can create your own experiences and invite people, or just, like, kinda make it be known that you wanna be a part of it. Sometimes if people don't know, and this is in personal life or in your professional life, if they don't know that you wanna be a part of something, then the invitation is never gonna find its way to you.
Yes. And actually, speaking to like taking initiative, you can literally plan something and host something all on your own. And one thing I really like is to like leverage holidays. So I think I've seen like a lot of Valentine's slash Galentine's
Yes.
events. And if you're listening and you are a girly pop, then I feel like that's a great one for you. But there's also like other ways you can like leverage those holidays or those like, national binge-worthy events, and it usually, like, it's gonna follow, like, the Halloween, the Friendsgiving, the Christmas, the New Year's, but you can even do, like, a 4th of July thing, you can do what I mean? Throughout the year, there's lots of opportunities, but, like, there's literally nothing holding you back from hosting 6 people in your home.
Hey, Level Up listeners, if you want to start booking 5-figure weddings, then it's time to start curating a 5-figure experience. Get started today with our Client Experience Bundle. Charging higher rates and booking higher quality weddings both require elevating your client experience, and our bundle is going to help you do just that. We are here to equip you with everything you need to impress your high wealth clients and full service wedding planners. With this guide, you are going to save yourself hours of troubleshooting and years of potential setback. Now, with this client experience bundle that we've put together for you, you're going to have everything at your fingertips to elevate your communication and your processes both pre-wedding day and post-wedding day. This bundle not only includes email templates, but it also includes a customizable proposal template and professional guides. If you're looking to upsell your clients to serve them really well without feeling salesy, we also include polished and professional templates that provide your client with a feeling that you have their best interest at heart while helping you increase your profits. One of my favorite things about this bundle is that it includes our style guide. Dressing for the occasion demonstrates to your client and the creative team that you respect their event and also showcases a team player mindset. It's truly an incredible resource. Head over to thelevelupco.com/shop and position yourself at the top of the market and grab our client experience bundle today.
I will say, so, like, we kind of, like, started at, like, the one end of the spectrum. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm holding my hands up. So, like, one end of the spectrum, like, these, like, extremely expensive, extremely time-consuming, extremely emotionally draining networking events.
For Taylor.
I love to be alone. That's my favorite place to be, is alone. Okay. And then we like dial it back and we're like, boop, okay, here's like maybe a more local thing. And then we're like, hoop, okay, here's something that maybe you're hosting at like at a restaurant or at your home or whatever. And then we can like dial it all the way to the left side where we're like, maybe we're just connecting online. And we teach our mastermind students a lot about like how to initiate those connections through, and it like initially Instagram is like kind of the primary place. But I will say, Instagram is best for nurturing existing relationships, not always best for springboarding new ones. I feel like
Mhm.
the best and most valuable relationships within the industry that you will ever start or ever build will always have a root taken place in an in-person setting. And that can be if you go to the same gym, that can be if you met at a networking event, that could be if you had the opportunity to work with them in some capacity in a real life setting already, and you just like watered that little seedling until it grew into like a big, strong tree. And because networking is such like a huge topic and it's like not only is it huge in like the ways you can approach it, how to maximize it, and how to identify like which route is best for you, it's also extremely huge in like the overall like growth and sustainability of your business. So it's like this like twofold thing where it's so incredibly important and it's so incredibly daunting for so many people. And so because of that, Kelly and I actually have a really huge exciting announcement. And we're not going to tell you what it is quite yet because we're going to save that for next week on the podcast. But it has to do with networking and really, really taking our little level up community and being your biggest advocates, your biggest cheerleaders, your instructors, and your guides when it comes to the networking world. And so, again, that's like all I'm going to really talk about right now. You'll have to tune in next week for the huge announcement, but it's something that is brand new. It's
It's
brand new.
brand new, and it's something that we've been working on for months now, and we saw this need within the industry, of people needing that guidance in how to approach networking in a way that is going to be sustainable and be able to yield in, real referrals, and to have just like friends and a buddy system within the industry. This industry can be kind of lonely sometimes, especially us as solopreneurs. And so we're really excited to tell you what we have been working on, and we're going to release it, like Taylor said, next week. But yeah, we actually polled a bunch of you guys on our Instagram because we wanted to know, like, what is it that you feel like is really missing in your business? What is it that you see so clearly, but you just don't know how to quite make it happen for yourself? What is going to be that thing that's going to take your business to the level that you want it to get to? And all of you guys said that it was the networking, it's the relationships, it's building those relationships in a way that is going to help springboard you up to that next tier that you want to get to. So we're really excited for it. Also, Taylor, I had a thought that came up because you were talking about holidays and like hosting your own thing. And you were talking even about like, I think you said like pop culture type of
Mm.
stuff. So like
Mhm.
an Oscar
Oh
party,
my gosh.
maybe like throw. I remember going to like an industry Oscar party back in the day. The best thing about like throwing these parties is that us in the industry have such an interesting, um, our week looks so different than our typical 9 to 5 friends. So like it was very a seamless transition in the early years of our business to gain a lot of friendships in the industry because we were working when everyone else was working, and we were free and available for dinners when everyone else was free and available. Other kind of like pop culture things, I remember I myself wasn't really a part of it. I tagged along for some of them, but Bachelor fans,
That's a big one.
there was a group of wedding vendors and friends in particular that would watch The Bachelor all together and like do dinner, and it would rotate through different houses on like who hosted. So like it really doesn't have to be this like huge, grand, expensive, strategic thing. Like that's just like Taylor said, like a touch point. Taylor's raising her
I
hand if
two
you're
little
watching on
things.
YouTube.
Two little things. I like get so excited. Okay, so number one, I'm actually gonna pull Paul into this here in a second after this
Okay.
little bit. But the very first engage that I went to was Dove Mountain in December of 2022. And I remember it was Sunday night and like so many people were like sitting at the bar. The event officially begins on Monday, but like everyone flies in usually the day before. And so we're all sitting at the bar, and all of a sudden I watched like everyone start standing up every like 30 seconds to 2 minutes and like leaving. And I'm just like sitting there with like my friend and the photographer that I was rooming with. And I'm like, where is everyone going? And I was so confused. And like the bar, like practically like within like a 15-minute period, like half of the people had left. And I was just like, what's going on? Come to find out the next day, like people were talking about it. It was the season finale of The White Lotus. I think it was season one. And so like everyone was like gathering in like their different hotel rooms to like turn on their laptops, log into HBO and watch the season finale of White Lotus, like sitting there at Engage. And so like I think that like to your point about like The Bachelor or whatever, like anything you can find in commonality with people, any excuse to get together, like I feel like has like a bigger like a bigger reason and a bigger pool for people to get together. Like that's why we usually like gather around meals or drinks. It's just like a communal thing where like we all want to engage in it together. And so you can find excuses, but to your point about it not having to be like expensive or fancy, like in your little friend circle, you guys have like whatever, 10, I don't know, I could be wrong, but like I'm always okay, so I live vicariously through Kelly on the phone. Basically, because she has like a fun little crew down there in Orange County, Southern California, and I'm like up here alone by myself in Sacramento. But they get together all the time with like some planners, a couple photographers, a couple filmmakers. And Paul is like known in their circle as like the makers of like the crunch wraps. Is that right?
Yeah, he makes homemade Taco Bell Crunchwrap Supremes.
And like, how easy is it to just like have people at your house throw together some crunch wrap supremes or have, I don't know, get like Thai takeout. It's like so easy. And
Yeah.
just like sit around and have like a little like just hang out.
Yeah,
Like open
we're
a bottle
actually
of
doing
wine.
that at the time of recording. We'll be doing that in a couple of days.
Yeah.
And Paul's making crunch wraps, and it's gonna be really fun. But yeah, we talked about there's just different ways to be able to build those relationships and network in a way that I think honestly feels very genuine. I think that's a big thing too, is like the genuineness of it, because people can sniff out someone just trying to get like a quick referral from a wedding planner, or try to maybe a filmmaker trying to tie themselves to a photographer's wedding, getting in the photographer's ear, being like, oh, do they have a filmmaker? You should recommend me. Like, please don't do that. Um,
These
but yeah,
relationships are built to last, not to be like a flash in the pan. Like
yes.
you're gonna start getting a bad reputation if you approach it like that second way. Like
And we
people
don't
don't
want
like
that.
that.
There is etiquette behind this, and there is a really genuine strategy that needs to be done. So yeah.
And these are all things we are uncovering in this big announcement. You guys, I like have goosebumps. I'm so excited. Like to work on something like in such like a intense way and like to be so excited about something but not be able to tell anyone about it for like an extended amount of time is very, very hard. So spilling the tea next week. It's going to be an all-encompassing shindig. Who says that?
That's so funny. Okay, any final points to this, Taylor, when it comes to how we can build relationships that are really going to lead to real referrals?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I would just say no matter where you are in your business, whether you are charging $1,000 and you are in year one, or you are charging $10,000 and you are in year 10, or anywhere in between, understanding that relationships truly are the lifeblood of the business. And if you've seen anybody, any of your peers, any of your colleagues grow really quickly, it's because of the relationship game. Sure, they're talented. Yeah, their brand is super solid, but those relationships are literally everything. Number two, you are 100% in control. You are going to get out what you put in. If you send a half hearted, copy and pasted DM to somebody and then send it to 20 other people, you are going to get similar results back in as far as like how much.
Half-hearted results back.
Yeah, it's going to be not great. And the same can be done for the reverse. Like if you are really connecting with people, if you were like trying like really hard, you're really strategic, like you're giving it your A game and you're in your all, then like you're gonna get so much more back. And number three will be I've been loving the trend of like the bingo card. It started back in January when it was like, on my 2025 bingo card is this. And we are addicted to TikTok over here.
We are.
Excuse it, please. But we want everyone, you guys, it's like we're halfway through with 2025 at this point, but that's amazing because we still have 6+ months left of this year. Like that's still so much time. Whether you have done some relationship building, a ton of relationship building, or none at all, we want you to put relationship building and networking right on that bingo card in the very center box because it's so, so important. And what we have next week coming at you is going to be something that is game changing. So whether you have no experience in the networking realm or you're a vetted pro, this is going to be something you absolutely need for your business. And it's going to be the result of both of mine and Kelly's. I think we're like at 23, 24 years of combined experience in the wedding
Yeah.
industry. We've We've, worked the rooms, we've been at the events, we've done all the online things, all the in-person things, and we are just like gonna shower you with all the knowledge and wisdom and strategy learned along the way. So we're really excited. Kelly, we're doing great at getting in the room this year. I'm excited, and I hope our audience is doing the same.
Yeah. And like you said, we're halfway through the year. We have a whole, other 6 months until we enter 2026, which is wild. But I want you guys to realize that in 6 months, you can become unrecognizable. You can absolutely change the entire trajectory of your business, the entire ecosystem of your network, and really just be able to get in front of people that are going to view your business in a completely new way. And people do it all the time. If they want to take initiative and go after it, in the next 6 months, you can do that. And your 2026 season is going to look so different than maybe it would have if you wouldn't have taken that initiative to get in the room, to build those relationships, and really take your business seriously and take control of it. We even have students of ours, when we have to give them some tough love pep talk, and they're sitting there and they're maybe spiraling of like, I don't know, this isn't really working. I'm not really sure. I need to like make sure that this is like, how do I get this to work? And it's like, okay, let's look at the ways that you're taking initiative. And many times they're like, oh, I could be doing more. Yeah.
Or
It's
I could
like,
be like allocating this time in a place that's going to actually make a difference instead of just like having it be busy work?
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Anyways, 6 months to become unrecognizable next week is going to be the very first step in order to get you there. So we're so excited. I hope you guys have a great week ahead. We will see you next Tuesday, as always, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for joining us in today's conversation. Please help us reach more filmmakers and photographers like you by taking a screenshot and sharing it to social media. And don't forget to tag us at The Level Up Co.
And join us again next week, same time, same place, as we continue to level up the industry together.